So today, we're diving into something pretty intense, a formal complaint sent to California's Attorney General. This isn't just any complaint, though. It alleges a deliberate professional assassination by, you guessed it, one of the biggest tech companies on the planet. Let's get right into what these incredible accusations are all about.
Right off the bat, the complaint just doesn't pull any punches. I mean, look at that phrase. It's the central accusation leveled against Google by a man named Dr. Mohamed Fayad, and it really sets an incredibly serious tone for this whole document.
So who are the key players in this whole situation? Well, on one side, you have Dr. Mohamed Fayad. He identifies himself as an American Muslim citizen and also a former employee of San Jose State University. And his complaint? It's aimed squarely at Google and what he calls his alleged co-conspirators, filed through the California Attorney General's office.
It really makes you wonder, right? What could possibly lead someone to make such a heavy charge against a company like Google? Well, the complaint itself tries to answer that exact question, laying out a very specific chain of events. So let's walk through what the letter actually says.
Okay, so the whole story, according to this complaint, really kicks off with one single huge event. It starts with what the letter calls a digital shutdown.
According to the letter, everything just changed on March 3, 2024. Before that day, Dr. Fayad apparently had full access to all his Google stuff, but on that date, he alleges all of his accounts were suddenly suspended, and he describes this not as some tech glitch, but as a deliberate and calculated cutoff.
And we're not just talking about losing access to Gmail here. The complaint details the suspension of cloud storage, payment services, even access to other apps that use Google to sign in. And get this, even control over his web domains. We're talking about the core digital backbone of his professional life, just gone.
So, why would this happen? Well, the letter offers up a motive. Dr. Fayad states his firm belief that this wasn't random at all. He claims it was driven by racial, religious, and political bias, with the specific goal of destroying him professionally and commercially.
All right, so the complaint then shifts from that initial shutdown to what it claims were the consequences, and it's framed as this absolutely devastating domino effect.
The language here is wow, it is powerful. The letter doesn't just talk about inconvenience or losing some money. It alleges the total erasure of a life's work. It's a claim of complete and utter professional ruin.
And to put a number on that, to give you a sense of the scale we're talking about, the complaint says this single action effectively wiped out a professional and scientific career that was built over 30 decades. 30 years.
This is the crucial part, really. It's how this one action allegedly created this massive ripple effect. The complaint lists these very specific outcomes: businesses and tech projects destroyed, years of emails and communication records just vanished, loss of control over web domains, and a total disruption of work and subscriptions that all relied on his Google identity.
But the allegations don't stop with Google, not by a long shot. The next part of the complaint blows the scope wide open, claiming that other major institutions were involved.
So the complaint basically maps out what it describes as this multi-layered conspiracy. It says it starts with Google as the main tool, but then it alleges coordination with banks and credit card companies, followed by bureaucratic roadblocks at his old job San Jose State University, and finally it claims hidden state government entities were also involved. And this right here is where the complaint really raises the stakes to the highest possible level. By alleging collusion with parts of the California state government, Dr. Fayad is framing this as way more than just a corporate issue. He's calling it a serious breach of public trust that involves the state itself. Okay, so after laying out all of these allegations, the shutdown, the chain reaction, the whole conspiracy, the letter gets down to business. It tells the Attorney General exactly what it wants done about all this. The final section is just a clear list of demands.
Yep, this letter is a direct call to action. It outlines very specific remedies that it's seeking from California's top law enforcement office.
So the demands really fall into four big buckets. First, a formal criminal investigation. Second, he wants the immediate restoration of all his accounts. Third, he's asking for comprehensive compensation for all the alleged damages. And finally, a call for systemic reform, so this kind of thing, in his view, doesn't happen to other people. And when it comes to getting his digital life back, the letter gets incredibly specific. It's not just about restoring his Gmail. It lists corporate emails, university accounts, and access to this entire ecosystem of professional profiles. We're talking ResearchGate, LinkedIn, YouTube, the whole shebang.
So there you have it, a citizen's formal complaint that lays out this massive alleged conspiracy, starting with a tech giant and supposedly pulling in government bodies. The big question, the one that this all leads to, now rests with the California Attorney General. What happens next?